Hello, and welcome to a new episode of Readings That Heal with Marissa Moments, where we trigger, awaken, and connect you so that way you can remember your divinity. So, we're talking real life stories, channeled messages, readings, you name it, that are all in the name of divine accountability, healing, and ascension. So, here's the disclaimer though. If you are a sensitive soul and you are not ready to begin your journey, healing, reflect, and potentially be triggered, then I will give you a moment to exit the room because this podcast is probably not for you. Okay, so if you're still here, that means you're my type of people, right? We are a village, we are a tribe, however you want to call it, and we are ready, willing, and able to look at ourselves strong and hard in the mirror, do the shadow work, and surrender to our healing, which brings me to the actual divine download that I have for you. Surrender, right? Spirit brought me an image of someone with their hands up. Now, oftentimes this image is associated with maybe a robbery, right? Now, maybe it's just me. Maybe that's just where my head goes. But what I was saying is when somebody says, stick them up, and then you put your arms in the air and you do not wave them like you just don't care. You are definitely, and I'm not meaning to make light of this. I'm not trying to trigger you in a negative sense. My only triggers are to get you to heal and to think, right? And to reflect. So anyway, back to the story. So what I receive is that what God wants you to do, what God wants us to do in this time right now is to fully surrender. Because what has been happening to a lot of us is that we're getting fed up, we're getting exhausted, we are truly becoming resentful, right? We're feeling like we're putting in all this work, we're doing all of these things, and we're leading through integrity and taking the higher road. And how many other ways can we say the same thing? And yet we feel like we are not being even seen or heard. Now, this has been an ongoing trend for a lot of the things that I've been feeling personally, but also I have to share it because this isn't an I thing. This is a we thing, right? So the image is the arms in the air, but towards the sky in surrender, right? Because whether you believe in God, whether you believe in Gaia, the universe, source, ancestors, angels, and or saints, you can still put your arms out in surrender. Stop carrying that load of the past. Stop harboring resentments for what somebody did or did not do. It's time to release all of that fully and truly, because only through that release is when you're going to be able to move forward into your actual inheritance, is what I receive, right? Because God has been setting the table for us, right? Slowly but surely, every single step that we have been walking throughout our lives has been another bit of that place setting being set up on the table for us. However, we just don't see it because all we see is a spoon, right? We're just like, oh, great, I got a spoon. Now, what am I going to do? I don't even have anything to eat, right? So then we start getting resentful because now we got a spoon and we're hungry and we ain't got nothing to eat. But meanwhile, God is like, be patient. Be patient. And we're like, well, how patient do we have to be? Because I've been patient for, and this is personal, for almost 40 years, essentially. I mean, I'm older than 40, but I didn't start out of the womb. However, what I'm seeing and receiving is that we got to give that up. We got to stop hanging on to things. And not only that, we got to stop trying to, what I hear is prophesy our future. We keep trying to, okay, so here's the thing, right? We may have a vision of the outcome, but then we try to prophesy the road and the direction and the journey along the way. We try to feel like we are the ones who are going to be setting all of that up. Now, yes, we do all have free will, right? So we get to choose whether we go left, right, center, or backwards, right? However, the journey is going to take a lot of twists and turns that we never could have seen coming. That's why, when you tell stories, you're like, I couldn't make this up if I tried. Because that's God's handiwork. That's ancestors and angels. That's them putting divine protection on you. You may think it's an obscene or just like, not obscene, but crazy twist and turn of fate, right? When you happen to go on the off ramp and then there was an accident, right? Now, that's not saying anything negative for the person who got into the accident. You know, God watches over us all, and in divine timing, whatever happens, happens. However, as it relates to you on your journey, you're thinking, I wanted to stay on that road, but I was forced into the off ramp and I felt resentful for it. And now look at me. Where's the spoon, right? Coming to America, a little nod. But here's the thing, right? We have to be willing to surrender. Now, of course, that is way easier said than done. And that's as such with every single thing along this journey, right? Because if it were easy, then everyone would be doing it and our world would already have shifted completely. I mean, knock on wood. And that's exactly what we want to happen. That's why we're doing it ourselves, because if we want to see the world change, we have to first start becoming the change we wish to see. I know you've heard that before. However, back to the subject at hand, you have to let go. You have to surrender. The things that happened to you ages ago. Now, that doesn't negate the fact that they happened. It just means that it no longer holds you and tethers you to that place and space when it took place. Right? There's a lot of us out here that are still hanging on to a fight that we had 10 years ago, still thinking about comebacks. And yes, I do mean to chuckle on that because, I mean, listen, if you're still thinking of comebacks for a fight that happened 10 years ago, whew, man, I hate to see an argument that happens today, right? But overall, God is saying to let go, to surrender. That is the only way that you're going to actually reach that destiny that you've already envisioned. Source, God, Gaia, ancestors, angels, and saints will send you that vision of the possibility because it is in the realm of possibilities. But however, it is up to you whether or not you actually reach that destination. It's just like when you get in your car or even on a bus or in an Uber, however you are transported on a horse, it doesn't matter, right? You can have a destination in mind, but if you take every left turn, right turn, turn around, all those types of things, then you will not reach your destination. And that is your own personal decision. You were the one who said, you know what? I know the map says this. However, I'm going to go there. And now, listen, you're not going to make it. Bottom line is you are in a place right now. If you are feeling overwhelmed, if you are starting to have flashbacks, those PTSD moments, and again, I'm not negating it, I'm not belittling it. If you are in a place and space where that is continuously coming up right now, one, maybe you do need to seek help, right? There's no blame or shame in that. There are people put on this earth that are here as helpers to assist us to move beyond things that we are unable to move beyond on our own. I am one of those helpers, I would know. However, helpers even have helpers. Okay, so there again is no blame or shame in that. So I don't remember which number I was on. I think that was 1. But after you get beyond that point, you just got to let go. You have to let go, either with help, without help, whatever works for you is what works for you. But I'm not going to keep going on and on because Lord knows I will ramble. Hopefully you're picking up what I'm putting down. God is saying it is time to surrender. It is time to let go of the past, and that way you can leave space for the future. You say you want these things to come to fruition, but you're not willing to really put in the work. And I'm not talking about physical labor, because that's the easy part. The hard part is releasing things from your heart, releasing things from playing over and over on loop in your mind. Releasing that blame on someone else just because, well, if only they had done this, then I would have been able to do that, right? You got to let that go. You're in the here and now, and that is where you need to be present. Clear the past, be present, and then you will have space for the future. And that's it. And as always, if this message resonates, then that means it is for you. And if not, that's cool too. Just keep it pushing. Either way, I thank you for listening, and I wish you the best day ever. Until next time, you know the vibes. Peace and happy healing.